there at the start in the race for the Barrington Cup. Currently held by the Shaw School of Sydney. And a hot field in this race. Lane 1, Geelong Grammar. Lane 2, Melbourne Grammar. Lane 3, Nudgee College from Queensland. Lane 4, Brighton Grammar. Lane 5, Scotch College Melbourne. Lane 6, Christchurch from Perth. Lane 7, the Shaw School from Sydney. Lane 8, St Peter's College from Adelaide. And they're just about set to go, Owen. This should be a great race.
Yes, can anyone catch Scotch College? They've beaten at least 6 of this field already this season in finals, and they have been really, really strong. Expect Brighton Grammar to really challenge them as well. In lane number 4, the crew coached by Nick Lloyd. And then we've also got the Queensland champions, Nudgee College in the blue colours and the blue boat, the Roger Gordon boat. That the Queensland Head of the River winners, Shaw won in New South Wales, and St Peter's closest to screen in lane number 8. The South Australian champions in Christchurch there in the bucket hats from Western Australia. They look pretty good in the heats of this one as well. So we're underway for the Barrington Cup. This decade, 9 times it's been contested in the last decade, and there's 4 wins to Scotch College, 4 wins to the Shaw School, and 1 win to Nudgee College, or St Joseph's Nudgee College, to give their full title. But it is Scotch College out of Melbourne that have started to blast out and trying to go with them, Nudgee. Nudgee, a very, very clean and polished crew, as you'd expect from the ageless John Bowes. They really trying to make sure that it's not just a case of dressage, but they're putting plenty on the end of the handle as they try and go out with Scotch College in the early stages of this. Shaw, who normally are renowned for blasting out at the start of the race, just being shaded by Christchurch, and also crews from Brighton Grammar as they start to make their way up towards the 350 metre mark.
And recall when Nudgee won that national title back in, it was 2015. They won it by really blasting out of the start too. I think the surprise of most people watching, got in front and were never headed. So it was a great start by Nudgee College in that race. They are certainly in contention here, just second to Scotch. They've won 6 of the last 7 Queensland Head of the Rivers. Nudgee College just dominant this season, winning every race by a couple of boat lengths in most cases. And they are giving Scotch certainly a run for their money here in the opening stage of this race through 500 metres now.
Yeah, 124 certainly quick. It's not fast conditions by any means here. And 124 through the first 500 for Scotch ahead of Nudgee. Brighton Grammar, they're in 3rd spot ahead of Melbourne Grammar School, Shaw, Christchurch, Geelong Grammar, and St Peter's from South Australia are in lane number 8, currently in that same position.
We do have, as we discussed with Ray at the start of the day, the 5 Head of the River winners here from each of the mainland capital cities in this race. A pretty unusual situation. I'm not sure if that's happened before, but Nudgee, of course, winners in Queensland. Scotch, the winners in Melbourne. The Shaw School won here in Sydney. St Peter's won in Adelaide, and Christchurch won in Perth. So this really is the ultimate national championship battle between these crews, which have swept all between them in their respective seasons across the country.
And Scotch will be delighted with the fact that they've put over a length into Brighton Grammar in the first 800 metres of this race. They're still half a length ahead of St Joseph's Nudgee College. Brighton Grammar in 3rd spot, and then it is across to Melbourne Grammar School, and going with them is Geelong Grammar and also Shaw and the crew from Christchurch. But on screen, starting to push out a little bit as they head up towards the 1,000 metre mark is Scotch College from Melbourne, Victoria. Dominant in the Schoolboy Cox 4, claiming all 3 spots on the medal presentation pontoon, and they lead St Joseph's Nudgee College, who are now also starting to move out to the best part, 3/4 of a length on Brighton Grammar School, who are in 3rd position. Shaw in 4th. Christchurch in 5th, Melbourne Grammar in 6th, Geelong Grammar in 7th, and St Peter's, South Australia, have lost touch with the remaining 7 boats ahead of them.
Yeah, Brighton Grammar was second to Scotch in the Victorian Head of the River. So they were beaten there by over a length, and a similar margin here. But of course, Nudgee, the interlopers from up north, sitting there in 2nd place. Certainly clear in 2nd at this stage, and then Brighton Grammar 3rd. A good race behind them for 4th place. But the top three are just starting to spread out now, and Scotch, as we expected, out in front, looking good, looking powerful, and even from here, they are going to be hard to catch.
Yeah, and one of only 3 Australian schools to have won the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup at Henley Royal Regatta when they won a couple of years ago. Scotch College, coached by Tom Woodruff. He's done a tremendous job up there over quite a number of years. You see the stroke man with that accentuated layback. He really just extends out as he finishes off that stroke. And they're starting to increase their advantage over St Joseph's Nudgee College. Brighton Grammar have started to peg back Nudgee a little bit in the early stage of this one, but it is Scotch that are out to a little bit of clear water as they start to make their way up through the 1,500 metre mark. 4:32, so certainly not fast conditions. This crew probably in flat conditions is probably about a 5:50 schoolboy 8. Here's Scotch College Victoria crew, and they lead from Nudgee with Brighton Grammar starting to push back on them. Shaw in 4th position, Christchurch in 5th, Melbourne Grammar in 6th, Geelong Grammar in 7th, and St Peters, South Australia, have started to work their way back into it a little bit.
Yeah, Brighton Grammar do look to be moving up on Nudgee there in the battle for the silver medal. Christchurch also finished very well in the heat. They actually beat Nudgee in the heat back on Thursday afternoon, and they are coming through fairly well in the closing stages now. But Scotch well clear. It looks like a battle between Nudgee and Brighton Grammar for the silver medal in the schoolboys Cox 8. But the Barrington Cup is only a few hundred metres away from going back to the Scotch school in Melbourne.
Yes, it could be 5 times in this decade that Scotch will have won the coveted Barrington Cup. They're only about 160 metres from the finish line, and they lead from St Joseph's Nudgee College, the very polished John Bowes coach crew, who are going to have to show all their grit and determination if they're going to hold off the Nick Lloyd coached crew from Brighton Grammar School. Shaw in 4th.
Finishing well here too on the inside, but might be too far back to medal.
Yeah, they have a fair bit to do though to catch the other 3 boats ahead of them. And then they're followed by Christchurch and Melbourne Grammar, who are having a good battle for 5th position. But Scotch College dominant in schoolboy rowing in 2019. The Barrington Cup is heading to Scotch. 2nd place, get very, very close on the finish line. I think Brighton Grammar may just about sprinted Nudgee College. There will await the photo finish on that one. Shaw placed 4th, 5th place to Christchurch from Western Australia. 6th to Melbourne Grammar School, 7th to St Peters College from South Australia, and Geelong Grammar place 8. But Scotch dominant, and we'll await the photo finish to see which way those silver and bronze medals went.
We will wait on that. It was those 2 bows just travelled towards the line, locked together. It did look like Brighton Grammar may have just got the last stroke in, but we'll wait and see. Scotch College the winners, and confirmation there, Brighton Grammar in 2nd place. So a Victorian 1-2 in the schoolboys 8A final. Scotch College win the Barrington Cup for the 5th time in 10 years. 2nd place, Brighton Grammar. 3rd, Nudgee College from Queensland. 4th, the Shaw School from Sydney. 5th, Christchurch from Western Australia. 6th, Melbourne Grammar. 7th,